Greetings, friends, and welcome to another episode of The Mistake Zone, your weekly dose of our lives and the mistakes within them. My name is Jaren Wade. Joining me, as always, one of my best friends in the whole wide world, Matt Alba. Hey, Matt.
Yo.
How are you doing?
Yo, I'm doing good.
Matt?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doing good.
Oh, no.
I'm not doing great because, Matt, some breaking news here on the Mistake Zone.
Okay.
Coming from, I found out through, Wario64, and IGN posted this, I think, 20 minutes ago, Matt, hot off the presses.
Okay.
Hot, scorching hot.
I'm scared, Jared.
Matt, you know my vice. You've known me for a long time, and you know my vices.
Uh-huh.
So, Matt,
Uh-huh.
given our decades of friendship, is it decades? Probably decades of friendship. Close to 2 decades of friendship, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
Matt,
Mm-hmm.
how do you think I felt when I read Wario64 on Twitter or X post? Hatsune Miku coming to Magic the Gathering for its next Secret Lair collaboration. Pre-orders begin May 13th.
Oh, no. Jaren, damn. That's really, really going to hurt your wallet.
Matt, I'm looking.
Oh,
Matt, I'm
man.
gonna control copy and then control paste the 6 cards that they showed in for this collaboration.
Okay.
Now, Matt,
opening
you know,
these cards.
in another life, I used to play some Magic. That was a lifetime ago, Matt. Matt, I was part of the kids who would stay inside at recess to play Magic the Gathering. And when our teacher would stop allowing us to stay inside to play Magic the Gathering, we would play it outside the portable. And again, lifetime ago. But yet, I see these Miku collaboration cards and think, I already have 3 Muna Hoshinova Hololive Wise Schwartz cards in my eBay cart that I'm being hesitant to pull the trigger on. But Matt, it's Miku. It's Miku in card form, Matt Alba. Pre-orders start May 13th, but I don't know, Matt. Something to look forward to when I go.
Jared?
What's up?
I know this isn't the way that, trading card games work, but, can you just buy these directly from Thing, or do you have to pull them?
Well,
I'm assuming you have to pull them, right?
If you want the thrill of the hunt, you can pull. But, whenever I'm in the area of one of our local card stores or hobby shops, I like to take a look at the loosey-gooseys, the singles. And since one of those local shops has a good selection of Magic cards, I'm gonna start befriending some people. Just whenever one of these sees some lightly played action and is no longer needed to be put on the side. But man, feels real bad, man. But
oh wait, Jaren, I'm reading through the IGN article right now. I think they just come as a set.
Oh.
You might not need to gacha for them.
Man, Matt. Oh, I see. This is why we're a good team. I like to jump to conclusions and, hyperbole. But you, Matt, man of reason, the yin to my yang. I should really look into this.
Jaren, I think if I'm reading this article right, it's like $40, probably US for the foil
edition. Okay, I'm gonna.
Which, Jaren, if you're gonna go in on it, why are you not gonna buy the foil edition?
Of course, Matt. For these will join my Renee and Aki Rose Hololive cards that are currently displayed on my desk. But Matt, I hate my hobbies. I know, OG Saturday Morning Arcade member Mark, he's in deep into that, Disney trading card game, Lacroix, and the One Piece game. Whenever he shows me his One Piece pulls, I think, Matt, beautiful cards. Those One Piece cards, gorgeous, but I can't, Matt. Can't. Too many traps for me. But, Matt, has anything trapped you recently?
Jaren, sorry, I'm still looking at these Miku cards, Jared, I think the thing that's currently trapping me right now is that it's throwing me off that there isn't a Miku for every color.
Oh, that's a good point.
Or am I just looking at this wrong? Because I see 2 greens, I see 2 reds, I see a white and like a white red, and I don't see what's missing. Black and blue are the other 2 colors, right?
Well, from what I'm reading, Matt, if this is a deck, I'm pretty sure you can't. How many colors, Matt? How many colors can be in a Magic deck?
I mean, you can put as many colors as you want
Okay.
in a Magic deck. It's not illegal. It's just bad. But like, I don't know, Jared. If you're gonna have a crossover, why would you not have one Miku for every? Like, you have 6 cards here.
Yes.
You could have had one for every color. One of these is a land, I guess, which is like, I mean, like, interesting. But Jaren, I'm disappointed that not everybody can rep Hatsune Miku depending on what type of deck they play.
That all that means is round 2 collaboration, round 2, Matt. We have we have Miku and more of her friends. Who knows, Matt? Who knows? But just wanted to break that at the top of the show to show how much of a why I shouldn't have any money. But Matt, how have you been lately, my friend?
Jaren, I've been pretty good. I've been diving into some Jaren. There's been a lot of Steam sales lately.
Yes.
And I don't know, Jaren. It's looking kind of dangerous out there for me. It already bit me once for a game that I'm going to talk about later this episode. But Jaren, I'm scared that I'm going to be bit again.
Matt, what's currently at your heels? What's chasing you right now? Do you have anything in your cart?
Jaren, not in my cart, but I do have a lot of new things wish listed. Jaren, I have Diluvian Winds, which is basically a kind of like a town builder type game. I have the Planet Crafter, which is something that I think just recently got out of early access, which I'm kind of like waiting to see if I should grab. Jaren, I still have Dragon's Dogma 2 there, but it's not on sale, but like I thought I'd bring that up.
Fair. Matt,
But
I'm also looking at my wish list right now just to see what I wish listed recently. Matt, should I go through? I'm going to go through my last 10 wish lists. Matt, how many wish lists did you go through already? So we can. We'll do our 10 recent wishes. What other wishes do you have on?
In my 10 most recent wishes, I have Zoria, Age of Shattering, which was at 10% off recently. I have Eludian Chronicle, 100 Heroes, which I think is no longer on sale. I have Synth Riders, which was on sale, but it's not anymore, which is a VR game that I keep meaning to buy, but I never do. Jaren, I have GR East Train Simulator on here. Fair. I don't think this was ever on sale, but you gotta relive the dream. Manor Lords is on sale, Jaren, but
isn't that on Game Pass?
Yeah, that came out a couple days ago. It is on Game Pass, and I think that's where I'm going to end up playing it.
Fair. All right.
Jaren, Den of Wolves is on here after Jaren. After our spell break talk last week, I ended up kind of like going from one dead game to another by going to the Payday 3 subreddit. Kind of just seeing what's going on in there, and apparently one of the old devs for Payday 3 had branched off a while ago, and they are also making a heist game called Den of Wolves, which I now have wishlisted and I hope is good.
Okay. Hopefully, Matt. Hopefully.
Hopefully.
All right, Matt, I'm going to look at mine. The last 10 things I wishlisted. Matt, I know we've discussed this before, but also I feel like my wish list doubles as just a bookmark, so I can be reminded of games that are that I've come across on TikTok or through trailers and whatnot, and and just don't forget them. But my last 10, I have in Konbini. That looks fun, Matt. I know this was in an indie showcase recently. Rakugaki. Matt, I'm a sucker for anything with graffiti and traversal. So, Hyperlight Breaker, of course, I added that.
Yes.
Let's School. I'm not sure why I added this. Matt, this is, according to the tags, it's management, city builder, strategy, simulation, and sandbox. Okay. What the Car, coming soon. Phantom Brigade. Matt, I feel like every time I see something with a giant robot or a mech looking thing, I'll wish list it and forget it.
Nice.
I have Eastward also. Matt, apparently Eastward Octopia DLC now available. What the Golf, already out. Trees and Tents, and Bunny Garden. And
Oh man, Jared, I am like legitimately surprised that like when I saw a bunch of HoloLive talents streaming that game,
yes.
I decided, oh yeah, okay, I gotta go like see what this game is. I'm legitimately surprised that is not a hentai game.
Matt, I'm also surprised that they were loosey goosey with the perms, but hey, I'm not a manager. Matt. I'm not a HoloLive manager. But yeah, Matt, I don't know. I'm really looking forward to a few games to come out soon, but at the same time, it's it was Golden Week. Got the Golden Week sale. Did you pick up anything, Matt?
I think that's when I picked up Silent Hope, which I'll probably talk about later.
Oh, didn't know Days with Ollie came out. Speaking about HoloLive, Matt, $8.99. I should pick that up eventually. Eventually, but Matt, speaking about getting to something eventually, I've been slacking the last 2 weeks, so you know what time it is, Matt. Return to form.
Classic.
Jaren's Kira Kira Sparkling Water review back from, a little hiatus, Matt. Hiatus. But I feel like we should just go through the power rankings real quick because it's been some time. Matt, I've done technically 13 of these segments and currently have 14 right now. Matt, going from my least favorite to my most favorite, we have Lacroix' Limoncello, Bubbly's Grapefruit, Farm Boy's Cucumber Melon, Farm Boy's Orange Vanilla, and Matt, my top 10 this year so far. Bubbly Pineapple, President's Choice Orange Cream Soda, President's Choice Lime, Lacroix's Black Raspberry, Lacroix's Key Lime, Bubbly's Raspberry, President's Choice Cranberry Ginger Ale, Bubbly's Maryberry Bubble or Buble, President's Choice Calamansi Citrus and Strawberry, and currently my favorite of 2024, Matt, Lacroix's Peach Pear. And I really need to find some other sparkling water brands because, Matt, I have returned this week with another LaCroix. I'll be honest, Matt. In our basement, we have a bunch of, sparkling water cases. Yeah. And when you were gone, I found myself rationing the flavors that I haven't tasted yet, where Matt, don't tell my partner, but I hid them. And I went back to the stash for this episode. And Matt,
amazing.
For this episode, we have Lacroix's Grapefruit.
Okay.
Currently, in terms of grapefruit, Bubbly's Grapefruit sits at number 13. Matt, my second least favorite of the year. But let's see how Lacroix's Grapefruit goes. And Matt. Oh, this is a very subtle grapefruit, but you can definitely tell it's grapefruit where, I don't know, I think we talked about this when we talked about the bubbly grapefruit, Matt, but I'm definitely getting that hint of grapefruit that I picture, once again, from childhood of just biting into a grapefruit slice or half that my mom had given me that didn't have any sugar. So you have that, I don't know, that tartness, that bitterness where it's not really heavy, but you can still tell this is grapefruit. It's a hint, but it's still that distinct taste where again, with Lacroix, it really hits you on the tip of your tongue. It's not bad, but at the same time, I don't think I would go to this that often, where it's definitely better than the bubbly grapefruit, in my opinion, just because vividly remember just having a disdain for that bubbly grapefruit. But this I don't mind, but in terms of my power rankings, I have to go next one up. Farm Boy Cucumber Melon. Would I rather drink this than a Farm Boy Cucumber Melon? Matt? I don't think I'd rather drink this than a Farm Boy Cucumber Melon. So taking the new 13th spot, we have LaCroix's Grapefruit. And Matt, my dog saw something running outside, and now she's standing under my desk.
Nice.
And that's how uninteresting I find LaCroix's grapefruit drink. Matt, so far, grapefruit sparkling water is not hitting on Jaren's Kira sparkling water review. So much so, I rather look at my dog sniff my anime figures than talk about this drink. But Matt,
Jaren,
what's up?
Do you ever get scared that your dog is going to chew on your anime figs?
No. So for our dog, Matt, she doesn't like toys. I know.
Oh, I see.
So our dog was a rescue dog, and when we first brought her here, we got her a bunch of toys, and we gave her like a orange plush or whatever. And considering she was in a shelter for at least 2 years or so, she immediately became like territorial. She guarded that because I guess that was her first real toy. And then she realized, oh, wait, no one's trying to take this from me. And since then, she's never batted an eye when it's come to toys, where actually, if you do a squeaky near her, she'll kind of be alarmed and run away.
Nice.
Where, Matt, nope, I don't fear her chewing up my anime figures, but I bet... No, I was going to try to segue, but Matt LaCroix's Grapefruit, solid 13th on Jaren's Kira Sparkling Water review power rankings. And Matt, have you consumed anything this week that you would like to drop on the mistake zone?
Jaren, it's not food, Jaren, but I have been consuming a kind of new manga series.
Oh, Matt. Topical.
Jaren.
Haven't talked about manga on the mistake zone in quite some time. Matt, what manga are you reading?
Jaren, this new manga that I am reading is called Tsumiki Ogami, The Strange Everyday Life. Okay. And, Jaren, of course, knowing us and what we like here on the mistake zone, is a high school slice of life manga.
Matt, speaking my language. Matt,
but
tell me about these characters.
Jaren, the main kind of like conceit or twist that they put onto this story is that in this world, there has recently been like kind of like a discovery where basically like demi-humans exist. So, stuff like vampires, like Medusas, werewolves, that sort of thing. Where, there's things that are like basically half human, half that thing. But in summary, it's like people with like animal ears and stuff.
Okay.
And
I too played Arknights, Matt.
Yeah, basically Arknights. And the story itself is, is like very, Jaren, it's very, very standard high school slice of life manga with, kind of shy male main character is paired up basically within the manga with the, Genki girl popular character of the class.
Incredible.
And Jared, I don't know, something about this is just very nice. And like, I really, really actually like the designs of the characters within this series. Because like, the thing that really like, kind of honestly made me interested in reading this series to begin with is that on the kind of like cover art for the first volume of this manga is the female main character Ogami Tsumiki. and she is a like a wolf girl. And Jaren, I like that this manga is doing their kind of like animal ear sort of things at the same level as human ears. So there isn't that question of, oh, do they have just like 2 pairs of ears?
Right.
And a second thing that I really liked is kind of how they did her tail with regards to the school uniform, which is that, she does have a kind of normal wolf tail coming out of like, where you would expect a tail to come out of, but she has it like tied to her leg with a belt. And I don't know, that like aesthetic is really, really good to me.
At first I thought that was a bit that seems uncomfortable. As someone who doesn't have a tail, I feel like that seems uncomfortable, but aesthetically, I think I'm thinking about I don't know, I guess my point of reference would be Arknights. If you showed me an Arknights character with that as one of their, character designs, I think I'd be really into it, Matt. I think I'd be really into it.
I actually also really like that they actually address that in the series. Like I think like in the 2nd or 3rd chapter, we're like, oh, isn't that uncomfortable? Like, oh no, or yeah, it is kind of uncomfortable, but it's better than like having the like putting it out of the hole in the back of the skirt.
Yeah, that's fair, Matt. When it comes to, I guess, the logistics of having a tail and wearing pants or skirt or some sort of bottom wear, I don't know. How do you feel about tail hole in pants?
I like tail hole in pants specifically, but right. I feel like when you go to like tail hole in skirt or tail hole in shorts, it's weird to me for some reason. I feel like pant material or pant amount of cloth is required to, really have the tail there. Or tail hole,
enough, Matt.
I mean.
Fair enough, Matt. Man, whenever I see a character with a tail, I instantly think that of, I wonder if they have a tail hole or, that's coming up over the waistline. But I didn't digress, Matt. You set up the world, you set up the characters, Matt. Besides slice of life, the most important question to me, at least, Matt, how are the goofs?
Jared, I like the goofs. All the goofs are like pretty good, whether it is like, kind of like playing on, what do you call it? The kind of tropes associated to the characters themselves, whether it's something like, oh, the vampire character, usually, vampires are, and within the series as well, are like, that very beautiful, very captivating kind of character. And, they just so easily attract people. And they made the vampire like character kind of what's the word? Like masochist sort of character, where he likes it when people insult him because he's just so not used to that.
Amazing.
I like that they kind of go sort of like kind of deep with some of the characters, or like this vampire character in particular. He's like, I like that they've given him kind of like the backstory of, he likes to keep superficial relationships because he feels bad when he like takes blood from friends that he like really like knows. So, which is why he like pushes people away and that sort of thing. And kind of giving that kind of backstory to a lot of the characters within the show, kind of like that's like kind of light backstory is, I don't know, it really adds to the series and makes a lot of the characters feel pretty fleshed out. Jaren, I like that they give the Medusa character a requirement of glasses.
Incredible.
To make sure that she doesn't turn people into stone. You
have to, Matt. You have to. That's a trope that I always like to see whenever there is that Medusa adjacent character presented in any form of media, or at least modernized form of Medusa.
I like. I like that they have like this on their sports day kind of chapters. They have they're playing baseball, and one of the outfielders is a bird girl. Pretty good goof. Good goof. Oh, by the way, I like the way that they kind of don't keep the what do you call it? Like the demi-human character amount, like the amount that they take from their I guess mythological counterpart is different between the characters. For example, like I like that the main wolf girl character's like younger sister is less werewolf than the like main character, where she has a tail, but only one of her ears is like a wolf ear, or like someone who's like a kraken, they still have normal human hands, but they also still have tentacles coming out of them, and they play baseball with the tentacles, and like they just do trick throws with them.
Okay, that's pretty good. Man.
I don't know.
That's
I really like the kind of like world building and setup they did within this manga, and I really suggest giving it a check because it's only I think 23 chapters so far.
All right, Matt. I think you sold me on this. I like me some youth, Matt, and I like me some Arknight. So I think this is a good balance between the two. What manga is this again, Matt?
It is Tsumiki Ogami: The Strange Everyday Life.
Awesome. We'll definitely check this out. Man, Matt, that sounds like a good time and definitely something I'd like to check out. Matt, it's raining here right now. I'm not sure if it's picking up on the mic. Matt, can you hear it?
I personally can't, but I think Discord does a lot of background sound removal.
Now I know why my dog is underneath my desk, because she is not a fan of Thunder and Lightning, Matt Alba. But you know what I'm a fan of, Matt? Spy Family. Specifically, I love me some Lloyd, I love me some Yor, some Anya, and some Bond. And Matt, whenever I think of Spy Family, I think Borf. And whenever I see my dog, sometimes I say Borf to them as well. Matt, do you ever say any anime sayings to your dog?
Jared, I love saying Borf. Borf is such a good dog noise.
Sorry, Matt, I'm going to close the windows. Give me like 5 minutes. I guess just a peek behind the curtain once again. Matt started pouring hard here. And as I said before, my dog doesn't take kindly to thunder and lightning. So the moment I got up to run upstairs to close all the windows, she was not pleased with me and followed me into every room I went into. And when I came back down, she followed me as well and is once again underneath the desk.
Nice.
But back to the topic at hand. We love Bond. We love Borf. And Matt, I enjoyed my time with the new Spy Family movie this week. That came out recently, Spy Family Code White. This is, I guess, a standalone OVA for Spy Family. And I think I can't help but compare this to the Demon Slayer movie we saw a few weeks ago, where that was more so a compilation film that took, the last few episodes of season 3 and I believe the first 2 episodes of season 4 and kind of just presented them in feature-length format, where I'm not necessarily a fan of compilation films like that, just because as a casual fan or someone that just wants to accompany someone with the movie that might not necessarily follow Demon Slayer, it's really kind of hard to follow the plot sometimes, or at least get all the nuances, where when you take an OVA like Spy Family Code White, I feel like just the premise of Spy Family in itself is pretty easily to digest, where you get a quick introduction, you find out who Lloyd is, you find out who Yor is, you find out who Anya is, you find out who Bon is, their situation. Just a quick spark notes for the first 2 minutes and you're good to go. It plays out like a normal film. And again, as for a casual viewer, I think that's what I prefer out of an anime film, or just any film in general, where even though this has 2 seasons worth of anime, a bunch of manga chapters and volumes, you can just go in, enjoy it, see the zaniness of this family. And I think as a standalone adventure for our Spy Family, it's a pretty enjoyable time. Matt, I'm going to go into just 3 particulars, but there was one scene in particular that I thought, man, I wish my pal Matt was here, because I'd look at him and go, we're so 12 years old. Slight movie spoilers for Spy Family Code White. Matt, our girl Anya finds herself in some hilarious hijinks where she accidentally eats a chocolate truffle that contains a microfilm. And of course, the baddies capture her, and she needs to essentially they want her to poop out the microfilm. And that, it's our girl Anya trying to hold it in, and we go into this low-key musical number of her hallucinating. And it's essentially a 2-minute poop joke. And that, as a 12-year-old, I enjoyed it. I just like the production style change where it is in Anya's imagination. So, you do have that crayon scribbly work or look in contrast to your normal Spy Family anime, and it's just so jarring once that musical number ends, and then you have one of Anya's classic scrunchy faces of her trying to hold it in and doing a stupid dance while these enemies kind of look on to her and try to egg her on. But a few moments after, we get to see a fight scene between Yor has her own fight scenes, which are pretty, I wouldn't say Yor's fight scenes in particular steal the show, because I think Yor's fight scenes are in line with what you expect from Spy Family. So it's nothing to really write home about. If you watch if you know of the anime or have watched the anime, it's welcome territory, but one you've been to before. Now, when we get to Lloyd's fight scene when he fights the enemy general, I do like how Lloyd, being the master of disguise, he's of course disguised as the general. So you have that notion of, oh, it's the general fighting with his doppelganger. But when they actually show the fight scene, the style kind of shifts into this black. It's basically really minimalistic, where the background is black, and essentially it's the general kind of with these neon highlights and accents fighting actually Lloyd with neon accents as well. So it's just another good stylistic change. Really enjoyed it. And then again, it plays off like a normal Spy Family episode towards the end. And if there's one thing that I realized when watching Spy Family Code White, enjoyable time, really low stakes, because at the end of the day, this is just another adventure in this family. But at the same time, Matt, you really have to suspend your disbelief, because Matt, Lloyd and Yor's identities are just full out in the open throughout this entire movie, especially when they're fighting the baddies. Like, I understand you're in this situation, but everyone fully knows what you two look like. So once you get past that, good time all around. And Matt, we had some movie popcorn during the showing. And sometimes, Matt, for me, movie popcorn doesn't hit, but the Cineplex popcorn on this particular evening really hit.
Nice.
But I saw... Matt, I need to take off my otaku glasses for a moment and put on my normie glasses, because I want to tell you about the second movie I saw this week.
Wait, Jaren, before you go to the second movie,
yes,
I just have one question about Spy Family Code White.
Yes.
So, Jaren, was there, because it is a kind of like original side story kind of thing, was there any appearance of any Street Fighter characters inside this movie?
Matt, I can't recall, to be completely honest, where I wasn't paying too much attention to kind of goofs, but if you told me that a Guile was hidden somewhere, I would have believed you. I would have believed you. But Matt, again, got to take off my otaku glasses for a second and put on my normie glasses, because... Don't worry, we'll get to the mistake zone aspect of this segment in a bit. But Matt, I saw the new Zendaya movie,
Dune 2.
I did see Dune 2, but I also saw Challengers, which Matt
Mm-hmm.
didn't know anything about this movie going into it, really.
Jaren, I don't know what this is.
Matt,
Mm-hmm.
because I explain things poorly, I'm going to go to our pal Wikipedia. And Matt,
Mm-hmm.
my favorite part about the mistake zone is me reading off Wikipedia. Matt, Challengers is a 2024 American romantic sports drama film directed by Luca Guadagnino. Matt still can't pronounce names. From a screenplay by Justin Kuriziks. It follows a professional tennis champion, Mike Fast, who plots a comeback with the help of his wife, Zendaya, a former tennis prodigy who retired after injury, as he goes up against another player, Josh O'Connor, who also happens to be his former best friend and his wife's former lover.
Classic.
So, Matt,
Classic.
this is one of those movies where it really shows the complication between, interpersonal relationships from your friend, your wife, former lovers, and Matt, that drive to be the best in sports and what it takes to be the best in sports.
Jaren,
What's up?
just based on that, like, quick plot synopsis, Jaren, are you sure this wasn't an anime?
Matt, here's stick with me.
Okay.
Matt, remember last year or so when I told you about Creed 3?
Yes.
And how anime inspired it was, just because even Matt, in many ways, I'm nothing like Michael B. Jordan, and I'll never be anything like Michael B. Jordan. But if there's one thing me and Michael B. Jordan have in common is we like to consume and partake in anime. And you can tell that with Creed 3, Michael B. Jordan wore his anime inspirations on his sleeve.
Yes.
Matt, I don't know anything about the director, but if you told me he was an anime fan and his anime fandom showed throughout Challengers, I would have. Matt, Challengers is an anime-ass normie movie, and I enjoyed every second of it.
Nice.
Because, Matt, in terms of just like character, chemistry, story, I think all the acting from everyone involved, especially the three lead characters, just their interactions with each other. There's also a lot of moments where not a lot is being said, but just through, their acting, their emotions, you just get hit with a ton of drama, a ton of personality. I can't, speak about it enough of how much I just enjoyed the story being told. Again, it's this portrayal of complicated relationships and also that drive to be the best. But Matt, before I get into why I think Challengers is such an anime film, this might be a little weird, but during this movie, I think it dawned on me that Matt, I think that Zendaya is a star. Like, I know we've seen her growing up in Shake It Up, or was that Disney show? It was Shake It Up, right? Something like that.
I have no idea why.
We saw her in Euphoria, in the Spider-Mans, and the Dunes. But Matt, for some reason, watching Zendaya in Challengers, for some reason I thought, you know what? She has it. I'm all aboard the Zendaya train, and I see a long career ahead of this woman. But Matt, I'm going to spoil some aspects of Challengers because as you who has watched his fair share of sports anime,
yes,
can you tell me if the scenes in my head have ever appeared in a sports anime you've consumed? Okay, Matt. So towards the beginning of the movie, when Zendaya's character, Tasha, and her husband Art are, in their hotel penthouse, getting ready for Art's big comeback. We see, sorry, not Tasha, Tashi, going over some promo from a Aston Martin ad. And then, she's editing it, putting her suggestions for how the final ad should look. Now, Fast forward. So the ad is, hey, game changers with Tashi and Art, Ashton Martin collab. And then we see both of them in front of an Ashton Martin car. Now, fast forward to the end of the movie, Matt, where it is Tashi and, Art's former best friend, her ex, Patrick, them talking about, hey, I want you to throw the match with Art tomorrow because he's getting his confidence back. I believe he can win the US Open. I need you to fall because, you're ranked 271st in the tennis power rankings. You mean nothing to this league. This means everything to Art. And when they're fighting, Matt, those dormant emotions run wild and then they start making out with each other. And in the background, Matt, guess what's blurred out in the background?
What?
The billboard that Tashi was working on in the beginning of the movie, Matt. Classic production choice. Classic.
Oh,
but
man.
We get... I just that was one of my favorite things. Again, Matt, there are so many elements of foreshadowing, of reference through all these movies, and even though there's a lot of back and forth between present day and then them growing up and the different stages of all their careers and their relationships, it all finds a way to tie together, all leading up into this match between two former best friends who is currently married to the other's ex. But we get to the final tennis match, Matt. And when I say, did the Promised Neverland people produce challengers? I really mean it, Matt. Matt, tell me if you've seen this shot before.
Okay.
We have Art preparing to serve. And Matt, when tennis players are trying to get into the zone, they start bouncing the ball on the ground.
Yeah.
Matt, the perspective is essentially... you have the perspective of the ground. You see like the little tennis like stripe, and then it's just Art bouncing the ball on top of the camera.
Yes,
Matt,
yes.
Have you seen that in an anime?
Yeah,
before?
of course. It's classic.
Okay, Matt. So Art and Patrick are going at it. This is the final set, the tie-breaking set, back and forth. Matt has an anime, and then for the first part of the match, the perspective is... you're the ball. You're going back and forth between all the volleys. Classic.
Jaren, you're just telling me about Prince of Tennis.
Matt, did Prince of Tennis have essentially... So Zendaya's character, Tashi, is, of course, sitting in the middle of the stands, of course. Essentially at the tennis net. Matt starts off with a wide open shot of Art and Patrick just, volleying or like hitting the ball back and forth. And then the camera kind of zooms in towards Tashi while like aligned with the tennis net. And then going towards her. Great shot, Matt. Really classic. But Matt, spoilers for Challengers, the film. We have this conflicted relationship between Art and Patrick. And they're going at it. This is the final game. Tashi has asked Patrick to take a dive. Art needs this to regain his confidence. But then, who knows what Patrick wants to do because they're all just going at it. Final. So they're hitting the ball back and forth. And Matt, they do the thing where with each hit, the each step closer and closer to the net, where once again, they're volleying back and forth and they're like right on the net where Patrick lobs the ball up and then Art goes for the spike. But Matt, right when Art spikes the ball, he ends up almost over the net, trips on the net, and Matt falls into Patrick's arms and then they hug it out and movie.
That's the end of the movie?
Yeah, that's the end of the movie.
Oh, man.
Matt, again, if complicated relationships aren't for you, then maybe Challengers isn't for you.
Jared, is this a BL movie?
Matt, if I were to tell you it's BL adjacent, I think, yes. Okay, Matt, it's BL adjacent.
Oh, true.
but still romance adjacent.
Mm-hmm.
Because Matt,
Mm-hmm.
relationships are complicated,
Mm-hmm.
but when Art spikes that ball at the end and then trips on the net and then falls into Patrick's arms and they hug it out, cinema, Matt.
Oh man.
If you told me that happened in Prince of Tennis, I would have believed you. I would have believed you. But again,
Uh-huh.
if you're into that complicated, if you're not really into complicated relationships and drama of that sort, maybe not. But if you're okay with it and want to see live action anime tennis, I think Challengers is for you. I honestly want to go rewatch it, possibly in IMAX. The score is also amazing. I was really into the soundtrack, but Matt,
Mm-hmm.
Challengers so far is my 2024 RL anime movie of the year.
Oh man.
And we'll see how long that lasts. But
Mm-hmm.
Matt,
Mm-hmm.
I've been a raving maniac about Challengers. I'm pretty sure that wasn't coherent at all. Matt,
Uh-huh.
please rate it back for us. What else have you been up to this week?
Jaren, I've been watching the kind of like over and over. I don't know if watching is really correct here, but I've been listening a lot to the Metaphor Refantasio soundtrack.
Matt, this is the new Atlas joint, I believe, coming out in October, correct?
Yes, it is coming out October 24th, I believe. No, October 11th, 2024. Sorry.
Matt, I know it's just April. That's just around the corner, Matt. That's just around the corner,
around the
and I
corner.
hate time.
Mm-hmm.
But I know there was a lengthy breakdown of what this game is, so I have to ask you, Matt, what is this game?
Jaren, okay, I don't know if I just maybe like missed one or two trailers of this game, but this game has a lot more in it than I thought it was going to.
Matt, when this was first announced, I think we both made the goof. Okay, sorry. I think everyone made the goof. Oh, they're finally making the Shin Megami Tensei cross Fire Emblem game that everyone wanted. But considering how much content and information they've released so far, from what you've seen, Matt, is that joke still valid, or are you seeing things in this game that make you excited?
Honestly, I think it's better to say that this is the Shin Megami Tensei cross current gen Final Fantasy game. Because, Jaren, I was very much unaware that this game had real-time, or like not real, I guess real-time action combat in it.
Yes. When you showed me the gameplay clip and how they handle its battle system, I was honestly surprised because I wasn't expecting that at all.
And like, while it does look like that's more so kind of like you're dealing with kind of like small enemies type combat, and you're opening for bigger type enemies type combat, I'm just legitimately surprised to even see that within the game.
So essentially, from some of the gameplay they showed, it's your typical JRPG openness of you're running around the dungeon or the overworld, and you see an enemy where in a normal Persona game, you would walk up to it, try to attack it, and then that would start up a real, a turn-based combat scenario. Where in Metaphor, it straight up looked like something out of Final Fantasy 16, where it did look a bit more character action-y. And then it shifted into a turn-based combat scenario.
Yes.
Where, Matt, did you read into it, how that works?
Yeah, apparently like the real-time action stuff, like I said, is more so for your small enemies sort of thing, where you can fight the weaker enemies that way so you don't have to go into a turn-based combat. And then for the kind of enemies that are stronger than you or like more on par with you, you can open with it. And you can kind of get them into a vulnerable state, and then you hit a button and it goes into the turn-based mode. Because I think you don't really have too much options on the action combat side. I think you do just have like basic weapon attack and dodge. So it's not like you're going to have like skills or anything at that point, from what I can see so far.
Matt, I feel like this only works because how snappy the transition at least seems to be in all the trailers they've released.
Jaren,
Where
everything about this game stylistically looks so wild.
where again, when we initially saw the trailer, it gave me, oh, this is that, you know, medieval adjacent what we expect out of Fire Emblem. But at the same time, I feel like the different environments they showed off have really given it a distinct style, something that really does blend that, I don't know, Fire Emblem setting, like medieval adjacent setting, with a bit more modern sensibilities as well. That made me really excited. But at the same time, Matt, if I had to be a bit greedy, I part of me also kind of thinks, oh, could this potentially serve as a tech demo of sorts of what a potential Persona game can eventually be, if that makes sense. But again, I'm looking too far into the future. In terms of metaphor and what they've showed so far, what else has been kind of sticking out to you that is making you excited?
Sure, I don't know if this is necessarily making me excited, but I really am interested in how they're handling time within this game. Because,
Also,
Jaren, like, as you know, within the Persona series, like, time is very, very strict. In terms of like, oh, you're doing something this day, you're doing something like this next day, and you really need to kind of like, if you're going for as much stuff as you can in one playthrough, you really, really need to plan out your timing.
right.
This game does still have a calendar within it, but it doesn't seem, from what I can see so far, seem quite as strict.
Right.
I really do hope that it is not as strict as Persona, because I think that's one of the things that I dislike the most about the Persona series in general. But
Matt, if you waste even one day, that might lock you out of S-linking all S-links. I mean, maxing out all S-links.
yeah, the thing that's really making me think that it's not going to be quite as strict is how they're doing their kind of city to city travel system.
Right.
Which is using that thing that they call the Gauntlet Runner, which is basically a mech that is also a ship that you kind of like run around in on the overworld. And the way that menu kind of looks is that you go into your mech, it shows you go to like a table within the mech, and then it's like, okay, here's all the places that you can travel to. It's going to take you like 2 days to get here. And that gives me hope, Jaren, that they're not going to be as strict about time. Because I kind of like the aesthetic of what's going on there, where you get into like this, like, you know, running mech thing, and then you kind of go, set it on autopilot, and then it kind of moves automatically in the same way that it reminded me a lot of the blimps and the ships and stuff in WoW, where like you are kind of just like waiting on it to get to where you're going, and while you're there you can move around your ship and kind of like, you know, interact with party members, or, you know, do cooking, or kind of just like, you know, just go up onto the deck of your mech boat, dude, and kind of see where you're going. And I don't know, that looks very, very interesting to me.
Matt, everything that I've seen so far of Metaphor, what's the full name again?
Metaphor Refantasio.
I don't know. It just looks right up my alley. Where again, normally I don't gravitate towards medieval adjacent, you know, just media in general, not necessarily my forte. But I think there's enough in this that will make me check it out. Possibly day one. I believe it might be day one Game Pass as well.
Yeah, that's like something I'm really curious about, because when I was like going through it, kind of today just to make my notes, I really noticed how much Xbox and Microsoft logos were within this trailer, and it really makes me wonder if it's going to be a Game Pass game at all, and if it's going to be specifically a day one Game Pass game.
I mean, Persona 3 Reloaded was day one, and I know you can still claim the free expansion pass if you are currently subscribed to Game Pass Ultimate as a perk. So I wouldn't be surprised if it is. But yeah, really looking forward to it this fall. And Matt, you reminded me that when you were gone, I used my last Nintendo voucher to get Xenoblade Chronicles, so I should probably play that eventually. But Matt, Elden Ring DLC just around the corner.
Oh man.
But Matt, anything else to catch your attention this week?
So Jaren, as I mentioned earlier, a game that I picked up on sale this week was Silent Hope.
Matt, when you told me you were playing this game, Matt, is this a HoloLive fan game that deals with Iris?
No, it is not, Jared. I would definitely play something like that, but that is not what this game is.
Okay, fair enough, Matt. Matt, what is Silent Hope?
Jaren, Silent Hope is a game that showed up several Nintendo Directs ago. It is a isometric kind of action RPG type game where it is like invoking a lot of not necessarily roguelike-esque, it's not really a roguelike, but it doesn't invoke that kind of a roguelike system where you're going for a run and like just, picking stuff up to make yourself stronger for future runs.
Fair.
The basic conceit of this game is that, it's your classic Fallen Kingdom story. And the reason that it's called Silent Hope is that when the kingdom fell, it's because the king stole everybody's words. And everybody in this game, except for the narrator, who is a princess, is basically silent. Which, Jaren, is a very, 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 funny way to, save some money on voice actors.
Fair enough. Matt, this reminds me of, stop me if you heard this before, a 2019 anime called Senryu Girl.
Oh, man.
Matt, how much is there a Senryu Girl type character in this game?
You know what, Jaren? So, Kana Hanazawa was the one who voiced Senryu, the main character in Senryu Girl, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Kana Hanazawa is the narrator for this game.
Incredible. Matt, I love me a full circle goof.
Oh, man. It's good goof. But
is Silent Hope a good game, Matt?
Jaren, I think Silent Hope is a good game, but it teeters with like a couple issues that I think stop it from being, I think, a great game.
Oh, okay.
So,
what's up?
Jaren, okay. So like I said, this is a kind of run-based game where you are playing as one of 7 heroes. And basically what you do is that you pick your hero at the start of a run, and then you jump into this hole in the ground, and you kind of go down for as long as you can, fighting as many things as you can until you either die or decide to eject from the dungeon. Of course, when you die, you will lose some stuff, versus if you choose to manually eject, you get to keep everything.
Matt, is this anime Downwell?
I think this is basically anime Downwell.
Amazing. Okay.
Yeah. But Jared, I like the way that this game plays. Like you have like your standard kind of like attack button that lets you do, your standard combos. You have 3 assignable buttons for skills that you can choose to level up. Each hero has their own kind of like skills that they get, and then as you play a specific hero, they level up and they get they can like become one of 2 other classes, and you can customize them more that way.
Okay.
Jaren, just to like go over these heroes. The heroes are the Wanderer, who is your standard sword and shield kind of character. The second is the Archer, who uses a bow and arrow. And Jaren, I guess another thing is that when you are outside of the dungeon, you are also kind of doing like setting up crafting and stuff like that, where the Archer is a farmhand as well. And when you interact with the Archer when you're outside of the dungeon, the Archer, does like, you can set them up to go milk cows or, monitor chickens so you can get eggs and kind of like stuff like that. Which is, I think, a nice little system to make you, like, it is not so heavy that it takes a lot of time, but it's like nice enough that you can, you have something to do some like bookkeeping to do between runs.
Okay. Sounds fair.
The next character would be the fighter, who is a chef, and they use, their fists. You have a caster who is your kind of like alchemist, and they, kind of just use staffs and magics. You have a rogue who is a maid, and Jaren, classic maid rogue trope. They use dual blades.
Of course. You have to. You have to, Matt.
You have to. And then you have your warrior, who is the blacksmith, and they use large two-handed weapons. And Jaren, my favorite character to play, and also a favorite kind of like archetype of mine, is the farmer. Is a like tiny farmer girl who uses a large two-handed spear type weapon.
Of course. Matt.
Which is
good trope. I like me the lolly adjacent character that uses a weapon that is bigger than themselves.
That is one of my favorite tropes. But like I said, Jaren, like the game stuff like plays well enough. You have enough variety, and I actually really, really like how these skills feel, because I think in terms of gameplay, I think the closest thing that I can think of is, falls within that kind of like Hades style gameplay where you are kind of, fighting things, and like each of your like buttons will do a different attack. But the thing that I kind of like about this game is that your basically everything other than your main basic attack has a lot of, I guess, like deliberate time built into it, where instead of it feeling mashy, when you hit a skill, you are locked into an animation for a while. Very kind of like Dark Soulsy, I guess, in terms of like how it feels to use those skills, and it feels really good, I think, to me, on how much time everything is costing you to like do.
So, Matt, this sounds like a game where you have to commit to your attacks. Fair enough.
Jaren.
What's up?
So, Jaren, like I said, like I think it teeters just shy of being able to be a great game.
Okay. What's holding it back, Matt?
Jaren, I think for me it is just a variety in what you can actually like really do as a character. I think for me, what I really, really want is that I wish that there was a little bit more variety available to you. And by that, I mean, I wish there was 2 basic attack buttons. Like, for example, the character that I like playing is the farmer girl with the spear. And there are so many times where I wish I had 2 separate buttons. One that is like a thrust attack, and one that's like a sweep attack, or basically like a light and a heavy attack. And there's so many of those equivalents for everybody else. Like, oh, I wish for the, I don't know, rogue, there was something more that's like a little bit more heavy of an attack to like hit them with. Because another thing that I kind of wish was a little bit better about this game is that, so Jaren, when enemies are attacking you, they also have very deliberate attack animations. But you can, I think maybe like, I'm kind of just guessing here, but on the back end, all the character attacks probably have like some sort of stagger value, so that once you build that up enough, like it stops the animation from playing on the enemy side. And I wish that maybe that was a little bit more clear on when you're going to be able to stagger them out of an animation.
Do you think having a stagger bar of the sort would help with that, or?
I don't even know if like I necessarily need a stagger bar. I think maybe just more consistency. Because going back to like the 2 buttons kind of thing, I wish there was like, hey, if you hit the light attack button like, I don't know, 5 times, you'll probably stagger them within that. Or if you hit the heavy attack button like 2 or 3 times, it'll stagger them. Like, I wish there was more understanding there.
Okay.
And one thing I actually I think is a huge kind of like flaw within this game is that this game has slopes kind of often, because it is a randomly generated terrain, so it is kind of connected by, it does the kind of like Diablo-esque sort of thing where it's very clear they have like predetermined shapes that are connected by, I don't know, like hallways or ramps and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think it's unfortunate that a lot of the attacks, both from the player characters and from the enemies, just clip through the ramps.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, so it's very, if you're fighting on a ramp, it is simultaneously like hard to deal with the enemies and like, you know, easy to like whiff your attacks and their attacks on you, and it feels not great on that end.
That's unfortunate, Matt. Where I have to ask this just because a lot of these types of games that I'm looking for either forward to or have wish listed are currently in early access or will be in early access. Matt, is Silent Hope also early access, or is this a full release?
No, this is a full release.
Okay.
Like, Jaren, I think like for what it is, it does have enough stuff in it for it to be a full release. But I think that for me, like these particular shortcomings are like what keeps it at a like 7 out of 10 instead of like going up towards like the 8 or 9.
Right. Do you think this might be something that the devs address, or do you think this might be what the finished product is and the devs are moving on?
I think that this is what the finished product is and the devs are going to move on.
Okay.
Like, I don't see these things ever being kind of like changed within the game or like within the future. But like, I think as it is, like the game is, I think like a perfectly good game. I think that right now at its like kind of like sale price on Steam of 25 Canadian is like a fair price for it. I think that the kind of like $55 price tag for its original price is a bit high for what it is.
Fair enough, Matt. That's fair. But Matt, that's Silent Hope. Available now. Currently on sale for Golden Week, I believe. But Matt, might add this to my wish list as well. Just keep an eye on it and remember it for the future. But Matt, speaking about character action, when you were gone, I was debating, should I play Devil May Cry 5 or No More Heroes 3? Travis went out, but, you know, in terms of my no recent activity backlog, finally got around to Devil May Cry 5. Didn't realize this was another 2019 joint, Matt, where I'm playing the special edition. So the base game, you have 3 characters, Dante, Nero, and Newcomer V, and then Virgil was added a bit later as DLC. But I've only completed the first 4 missions or 4 chapters, I believe. So it's relatively early. I've only played with Nero and V so far. No Dante yet. Virgil, I believe, is essentially just a different option menu when you kind of start up a new game. You either have your original 3 or you have the Virgil route that you can play. But Matt, I've told you before, character action games are something that I adore, similar to fighting games, but at the same time, what makes a character action game so stunning is not only how fluid it can be, but also the insane combos that, you know, you can get around and do. And Matt,
yes,
for a game like Devil May Cry, where you're ranked on your combos, you're ranked on how stylish you are, and that will eventually, you know, lead to higher payouts for the red orbs, which you can use to purchase more moves, different items, different weapons, different upgrades. And needless to say, Matt, with Devil May Cry, when they asked, do you want to play on normal difficulty or do you want to play on human difficulty, which is for the newcomers to the character action genre? That I'm technically not a newcomer to the character action genre, but I am an old man just because if you rewind it back to when I talked about Bayonetta 3 last year and how my forearms hurt, Matt, my forearms definitely still hurt when playing Devil May Cry 5. But again, Devil May Cry 5 is a character action game, the latest in, you know, this storied franchise. But playing as Nero right now, he is the first character you get to control, and one that I really enjoy, where it's your typical character action game. You have your one attack button for your ranged attack, one for your melee attack, a jump button, and then a special button. Plus, you have essentially your double trigger or your EX button, and your lock on, and so on and so forth. Matt, again, this comes to my issue with the Bayonetta games, where I'm so used to just mashing on one attack button, where you need variety, and that usually results in tap tap pause tap tap tap, or tap pause tap to do all these different combos. But again, in the heat of moment, I'm frantic, I'm trying to juggle all these different enemies, I'm just mashing, and that mashing doesn't result in stylized scores. But Nero has a grapple hook equivalent where Matt, I love me the ability to either pull enemies towards you or use them to grapple towards an enemy. That was one of my favorite parts of not a game kind of close to our hearts, Kingdoms of Amalur, Reckoning, where love me a good grapple, one to really close the distance. And I think that alone for Nero really helps me with kind of slowing the pace down, continuing my combos, and reminding me, okay, I did this one combo I have unlocked, I'll pull them over, and then I can do this next combo, and so on and so forth. Where, again, by being given all these different tools, it lets me recontextualize what's kind of going on and forces me to add more variety to what I'm doing. But each of the different characters has their own gimmick, and Matt, Nero's gimmick is his Devil Breaker. So essentially, I don't know what it was about 2019, Matt, but a lot of protagonists lost their arms and had to get prosthetics, Nero included. And Matt, with Nero's Devil Breaker, you get a bunch of different arm add-ons that have their own special properties, where something like the One Punch or whatever shoots out a rocket arm and then it kind of just flies in the vicinity, hitting everything. Or if you have the pasta arm or whatever, like a fork arm, it will just shoot it forward and drill into an enemy. Or Matt, if you have the tried and true Mega Buster, you shoot Mega Man beams or dots in front of you. So
is the Mega Buster a default thing, or is that more so like a?
It came with the deluxe edition.
Oh, okay.
So I think it was DLC, Matt. And again, it adds to different the variety to your move set. But this is what I wanted to run by you, Matt. You can essentially have a loadout. Your default is 3 different Devil Breakers that you can either equip, you can buy from the store, or you find just random Devil Breakers all around the level as well. But you can only equip 3 at a time, and each Devil Breaker will essentially run out after a few uses, but you can force it to explode to switch to the next Devil Breaker, and then also allow you to kind of break enemy attack combos or kind of give you an escape. So that's like another layer of kind of strategy when it comes to the Devil Breaker, but pretty straightforward. It's not kind of like Dante from previous Devil May Cry, where you can equip different weapons and then you're switching them on the fly. You have this Devil Breaker system for Nero specifically. Each Devil Breaker has limited uses, but then you can get your own loadout as well, where I'm not necessarily creating loadouts. I'm just kind of using what I have available and making them explode when I need to get out of situations. But if you wanted to kind of maximize your weapon potential, you probably have to start incorporating there are probably meta Devil Breakers, but I'm not that deep into the game so far, Matt. But chapter 4, you play as the newcomer to the series, which is V. And Matt, V is different, a different kind of character in this genre that I'm not used to before, where V's actually adjacent to a summon character where he doesn't attack directly. He uses his bird familiar and his panther familiar. Your bird familiar is your range attack, and your panther is your melee attack. Where with a V, it's all about kind of positioning yourself to be out of danger because you're using your familiars to attack. And each of your familiars have their own health bar. And if their health bar gets depleted, you have to wait on cooldown for them to revive. And of course, that's bad for you because V is essentially your glass cannon of sorts. Like he can't take too much damage, but you can position yourself to be out of harm's way while you're attacking with your familiars. But at the same time, Matt, with the V, although it's pretty cool, it's kind of disorienting where, oh, I need to make sure know where my panther's at. I have to know where my bird is at. And you're not necessarily, controlling their movement directly, but you're kind of, locking on to different enemies and saying, okay, I need my panther to do this, but then I need my crow to do this. So it's a lot of balancing that is something that you have to kind of keep an eye out, keep tabs on. But it was just the first mission I played as V, so that's something I'm still getting used to. And you can, when you have enough of your, I think, essentially mana, you can also summon a third familiar, which is just a giant Hulk demon monster that kind of has its own or controls itself and just goes around causing chaos, which is cool too. But Matt, what I do like about V is, during the battle, a lot of his special attacks or for his familiars and even your big summon takes mana, and V is able to regen mana during a combat encounter by essentially reading his grimoire and then reading a passage out of it, and it's so double maker. Matt, it's, how do you feel about essentially the Marvel, that what is kind of known as that Marvel humor these days, where it's a lot of wittiness, it's kind of camp, but it's your protagonist trying to be a badass with all of these one-liners? Is that something up your alley, or are you kind of over that now?
Jaren, I think I can maybe handle that for I don't know, half an hour, and then I flip onto the other side of cringe.
Right. Where I don't know what it is, Matt, but I played through Devil May Cry 1 and 3, and there was, that self-seriousness to them where I think especially in a post-Bayonetta world, I really do think Devil May Cry really just, it wears its camp on its sleeve. And again, it's just a lot of one-liners. It's V being that goth, edgy kid, reading out of his grimoire to recharge his mana. But at the same time, it's backed by some solid character action. I haven't gotten into Dante yet, but Nico is essentially your pal, Nico's pal, and she handles all your upgrades, and she's essentially your vendor for the game. And Matt, to summon, essentially before every boss fight, you'll find a payphone, and that essentially summons Nico to your location. And every time Nico's summoned, Matt, it's her in her workshop van just crashing into the area. It's happened 3 times so far. And Matt, I just love the image of her just bursting into the level out of nowhere in her truck. It's a really good goof. But at the same time, Matt, it really goes into its camp. For a 2019 game, I think this is still a gorgeous looking game. Hopefully by next week I can tell you about Dante. But yeah, it's Devil May Cry. It's still, I still can't get SS rank combos, but when I fumble my way to an S rank combo, Matt, it makes me feel good, Matt. But yeah, one more thing I wanted to mention is it's one of those games that have multiple characters, and you have that situation of, one character is doing something in the level, and then there's another character, doing something else in the same environment. Where, Matt, It's not really a thing right now, just because again, this is like 5 years after release, but it does technically have a spectator system where you might be out and about, and out of nowhere it will be, oh, on like the left side of your screen it says starring like a username, and I thought, oh, what's that about? Um, so essentially, say I'm playing as V and I'm on like a catwalk overlooking a big area. And if I look down, it's the same area I was a chapter before as Nero fighting on the rooftop. Where
I see.
if you were connected to another person, you could just spectate that person playing that portion of the game. Which I think is kind of cool if it worked. But since, again, I don't think there are many people playing that particular level of Devil May Cry, it's just controlled by an NPC bot. But I think that was a cool side. But yeah, again, that campy as heck, solid character action. I don't know. I'm really enjoying my time with Devil May Cry, even though I'm pretty bad with it. But yeah, it's something I'll definitely stick around. I believe I might have 10 more missions ahead of me, so there's still a big chunk of game left before me, and I'll check in with Devil May Cry, briefly again next week. But that, I think that's everything I have for the Mistake Zone this week, but I think there's something else you have as well.
Of course, Jaren, of course. Jaren. This week, I'm the one bringing the Don't Match Me challenge.
Oh, Matt. Always looking forward to a good Don't Match Me challenge. Matt, what's the topic this week?
Jaren, this week, just because I already brought Silent Hope, I thought I'm going to bring the Don't Match Me RPG edition.
Oh, Matt. A genre I'm both familiar with and not familiar with at the same time. But please, lay it on me.
All right. So, as always, the rules are that I'm going to bring five topics, 5 questions, 5
categories. Yeah, 5
categories.
5 categories, questions, 5 scenarios, but there are 5 of them at least.
And they're going to become increasingly more specific as it goes on. All you, the player, need to do, the listener, the player, need to do is not match my pick on any of these scenarios.
Okay.
So, Jaren, starting off easy for this Don't Match Me challenge. Just name any RPG franchise.
Okay. Any franchise. I thought you were going to be a bit more specific there. Okay.
No. Jaren, there's a lot of RPG franchises to choose from. I thought if I went with just games in general, that's way too many.
Fair enough.
Catch people.
You need to catch some people. You have to catch some people. Okay. Okay.
All right. So, any RPG franchise, Don't Match Me in 3, 2, 1, Final Fantasy.
Oh, Matt. I originally said Final Fantasy 3, but then when you said franchise, I thought, oh, too easy.
Jaren, gotta catch the people who are going really easy here.
Matt Suikoden's RPG, right?
Yes, Suikoden's an RPG.
Okay. Still on it, Matt. Still on it.
Okay. Jaren, for the second category, Jaren, just name any traditional fantasy RPG weapon. So, Jaren, there's a lot of weapons that you can choose from. You just gotta name any traditional fantasy, specifically RPG weapon.
Okay.
So, Jaren, Don't Match Me in 3, 2, 1. I pick the spear.
Okay. Now I switched on me, and then I thought, oh, if I switched from one that wasn't a match to a match, I'd feel so bad. But Matt's still in it. Still in it with my mage staff.
All right. Jaren, the next category is, Jaren, name any traditional RPG's negative status ailment. So there's a lot of, status ailments out there. You just gotta name one that isn't the one that I'm about to name.
Fair, Matt. Fair.
All right. So, 3, 2, 1, poisoned. Jaren, I felt like I had to go with probably one of the most common ones, which was poisoned.
Matt? Still in it. I chose another P1 with paralysis.
Oh, nice. Okay, Jaren, getting a little bit more specific here. And there is a little bit of wiggle room on this one.
Okay.
So, name a RPG video game genre that is a blank RPG. So, when I was going through the alphabet, Jaren, I think that there are 6 for sure, and then there is like kind of 4 or 5 maybes, depending on how you wanna read it. I'm good with any of them. You just gotta not match my like letter RPG pick. Okay. So 3, 2, 1 TRPG. I picked that for Tactics RPG.
All right. Still in it, Matt.
Okay. Still in it. Mm-hmm.
Of course, I feel like Tactics is always like the initial one, but I moved to Character Action RPG or Character RPG.
Ooh.
CRPG.
Jaren. Okay. My final one. And Jaren, this is another subjective one, but personally, I think that there are only really 3 valid answers here.
I think I know where you're going with this, Matt.
Okay. Jaren, name the color of a health potion. Was that where you thought I was going to go with this?
No, I thought you were going to say name one of like one of the trifecta classes.
Ooh, okay, I see.
Healer, defender, DPS.
But, that would have been a good one. But Jaren, I think that there's only 3 correct answers here. I think like I could be reasoned into stretching it into 5, but
okay.
3 correct colors for a health potion. So you just gotta not match me in 3, 2, 1. Red.
Matt.
Okay.
Survived because
you got through.
I went with green this time around.
I think green is one of the only other valid ones. I think the next most valid one after green is blue.
Yes. Those were the 3 that immediately popped into my mind when you said typical like healing potion. I think red is the most.
Yes.
Include. Blue I've seen, but blue is usually associated with mana. Green I've also seen before. Matt, I know this isn't my list, but I think purple is a valid one as well. Normally purple poison, but I've seen purple in the past. You said arguably 5th, Matt. Matt, what was the potential 5th one?
The potential 5th one that I think is like still kind of correct is yellow. Yellow is like so uncommon, but I think yellow is semi-valid. For me, Jaren, purple has always been one of the combo ones for me, where it's like doing health and like, magic resource.
Fair enough. Matt, before we end off, okay, let's play a quick game, Matt. So, red health, blue mana. Other than health, what would you associate green potions with?
Poison or stamina.
Stamina, good call. Yep, I see it. Matt, what do you associate orange with, if you do have an orange association?
I kind of associate orange, and actually both orange and yellow. I usually associate to, like, buff potions.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do associate orange with more so buffs. I think yellow, for me, I associate more. Of course, a feather, you would associate a feather, but I do associate yellow with the revive as well.
I see. Jaren, do you have any associations for white or black potions?
White I can also see as revive. Matt, I feel like a black potion is a buff with a notable downside. Like for some reason, I couldn't tell you if this existed in a game, but if I were to take a black potion, I feel like I'd be buffed up for 2 turns, but then die on the 3rd turn.
I see.
Do you have any associations?
Yeah, I usually associate black potion to some kind of like poison or debuff. And then I usually associate the white potion to status ailment curing.
Not fair. I think that's a more reasonable viewpoint than my, I'm going to die in 3 turns.
See, the I'm going to die in 3 turns, Jaren, to me is the like a brown potion. Where it's like, you have a crafting system where it has like set, what do you call it? Kind of a set set recipes, and you only get the brown potion when you do one of the recipes that isn't a recipe.
Fair enough. Fair. Okay, I get that. That's when you screw up, right? Okay. With the stink lines coming through it. Oh man, Matt. Good, don't match me. I somehow skirted by. I was close a few times though, Matt. Close a few times. But now is the point of the episode where I start to panic and think I only have 1 week to figure out my don't match me. But Matt, I want to thank you, as always, for joining me this week and editing this podcast of ours.
Yo, thanks, Jaren. I want to thank you for, as always, hosting this week and bringing to my attention some IRL anime movies.
Thanks, man. I'll try. Matt, I want to thank Hatsune Miku. I want to thank that portable we played Magic the Gathering out in front of at recess. I want to thank Senryu Girl. I always want to thank 2019. And I want to also, Matt, I want to thank Zendaya. I believe in you, Zendaya. But Matt, I also believe in you. I believe in our friends. And with that, please take it away.
Jaren, this has been Mistake Zone. And Jaren, unfortunately, we are still and always going to be out of 2019.
Matt, you're breaking my heart, Matt. You're lucky I didn't go into a monologue about QQ because I opened up some old wounds earlier today. As you know, Matt. As you know. Speaking about checking things out, I went to the movies a lot this week. And I saw two in particular. And I guess the first one I wanted to talk about really quickly, Matt, was the new Spy Family Moom. Sorry. Moom? What the hell?
You're close, Jared. You just anagram? Not anagram. Is anagram when it's like the same forwards and backwards?
Why did I say moom?
I don't know.
What does that even mean?
Oh man.
Oh man. Okay. Sorry.